Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about Asus ROG Phone 5. So let's dive right into it. Now this is new Asus flagship and this is aimed for 2021. Now because of the world going boom in 2020, so they expect a shipping delay and all that jazz. Now why the heck Asus directly went from 3 to number 5 is simply because in many Asian belief systems, number 4 is considered very unlucky. So it's almost like why USA does not have 13th floor. It's something similar to that. Now Asus ROG Phone 5 is just the fourth iteration of Asus ROG Phone concept. So let's dive right into it. Now this puppy, the first thing you will think about is how is the performance. Simply put, you do not get more performance than this puppy. Flat out, at this moment in time, the moment Asus launched this phone, there is no system on chip that is much better than this puppy, unless you count Apple's silicon on chip. You won't find something better than this. So flat out, you have a Snapdragon 888 processor. There is nothing more powerful than that. And this also has a display to go with it. So it has 144 Hz display. Now you may be like, is it worth it? Well, going from 60 Hz to 90 Hz is a bit better. Going from 90 Hz to 120 is still a little bit better. And 120 to 144, it's a little bit better. Yes, there is a point of diminishing return. But if you are paying this amount of money, you want the best possible. Not like, we can live without it. You want the best possible. So they go as high as OLED technology at this point in time will allow. So this is really good. On top of that, it also has HDR10 certification. That simply means any content provider like Amazon or Netflix, if they need HDR certification to display HDR content, this puppy got it. You do not have to worry about it. So that's another aspect of it. And RAM wise, they went all out. So they start with lowest is 8 GB and it goes the maximum of 18 GB, which mind you, at this point in time when Asus launched this, it has the highest RAM capacity available. So it's really capable. Now one interesting thing there, because when you are talking about powerful chips like this, like Snapdragon 888, it is powerful, it is efficient, but it does heat up over time. So if you take this phone and same SoC on other basically flagship mobile phones and you compare their performance, you may find there would be a little bit like, let's say 2 or 3% performance gap if you check benchmark again and again. But you will notice one thing very interesting. If you do long run benchmark, let's say you start playing game and you kept playing it for let's say 3 hours or 4 hours, you will notice that other phones will start to feel a little bit sluggish. Not too sluggish, you will still play, you will still have a good experience, but you will notice something is off. The primary reason for that is heat buildup. So because phone, it does not have lot of venting holes, it heats up, and because that heat gets trapped there, over time it starts to cook the processor. And to protect the processor itself, processor downclocks itself. So it will go from let's say 2 GHz, it will go down to let's say 1.8 GHz to protect itself over thermal runaway protection system. Now when Asus designed this, they wanted the highest performance, but they know that there are many mobile gamers that will play for multiple long hours. I know personally people who have daily job, they come home and they start the COD mobile and they play for at least 4 or 5 hours continuously. In those sort of scenario, that's not an acceptable bargain. So Asus, what they did, they split their battery. Generally they use one large cell of like 3000 milliamp hour or 6000 milliamp. That gives you the longest battery life possible, long life of longevity also. So your cell will last much longer. Like after 2 years you will still have a lot of capacity left. But this time they did something different. They split the battery, so they have two batteries, 3000 each. Now the primary reason for that is to give cooling room for this puppy. So everything is designed in this phone from day one to have good cooling. Yes, the mobile phone will heat up, but the system on chip will remain under well controlled temperature. So what does that mean for your performance? Simply put, after 4 or 5 or 6 or even 7 hours of continuous gaming, you will find this phone still is going strong. The performance dip will not happen. So that's the whole thing. That's why like they have a large graphite cooling pad, aluminum frame, copper 3D vapor chamber. That's the whole point of this. Everything in this puppy is designed in such a way that so it can turbo up to the maximum and it can sustain that turbo. It's not like nitro and then you are out of it. It's not like that. It's like go as fast as possible and maintain that. So it is really high-end performance wise. Like this is giving you as fast as buttery smooth as possible in terms of Android phones. Now what are the unique selling points? Because this puppy is expensive. You are talking about at least 50,000 rupees for the basic variant, and it can go up as upwards of like 80,000. So it must have some unique selling point for which people would want to spend that kind of money. the audio reasons are very amazing in this. First, it has actual stereo speakers, and every Tom, Dick and Harry who is testing it out is like, dude, I forgot that one time basically audio quality of mobile phones were really good because they had used to have stereo speakers. HTC used to do amazing work with those, like they had really good speakers with that. Asus is bringing that back. Now it has a side effect of having bezels, thick bezels on both ends, but the bezels are symmetric, so it's not like a weird phone like I have M30. It's like top bezel is very tiny but bottom bezel is huge. It's like, that's asymmetric, that looks ugly. They have very symmetric system, and because they have front firing stereo speakers with good sound engineering chamber, the sound is really good, like really good. So flat out, if you are in a scenario where you cannot use headphone, the speaker will not disappoint you. So that flat out for many people is just like, shut up and take my money. Then they have quality 3.5 mm audio jack. What does that mean? That simply means if you are a person who utilizes let's say lossless audio files, let's say very high bitrate mp3s like 320 kbps mp files or FLAC files, you want to have the best experience. The best experience you will get from wired headphone. This has wired headphone, and before that wired headphone comes, before the signal turns from digital to analog, they have they have quad DAC setup. So basically digital to analog conversion is done at the best quality possible with best fidelity possible. So even if you just have a like older, like let's say you have 10 years or 20 years old speaker system, that is amazing, but you do not want to feed data through Bluetooth simply because Bluetooth will compress the hell out of it, you can utilize this. So if you are an audio lover, this puppy is really good for that. Like many people will simply say, shut up and take my money. It has a headphone jack, I can utilize my lossless audio files on the go without any issue. Shut up and take my money. Then it also has second USB-C port, which is a dedicated feature for gamers, simply because gamers will be holding their phone in landscape mode, which means your USB ports are blocked. How the heck you gonna charge it? You can charge it, but the consequence would be your hand will be very uncomfortable if you try to play with charging cable. So they have a charging cable on the bottom, which will allow you to have unhindered experience. You can keep gaming, you can keep charging without any issue, or you can even watch Netflix like this without any issue. So it's like minor details, but it's really helpful. And this also has a display out built into it, so it's you can connect that to big display. Now you may be like, what's the benefit of that? Well, unless the content protection system blocks you, you should be able to watch anything you are watching on the phone on the display. And modern mobile games, specifically COD Mobile, does look really good on big screens. I will not suggest this with PUBG or Free Fall, because the moment you stretch it up to large screen, heck, I have experienced them in 21 inches, it's like it flat out does not look good. But when you do this with COD Mobile or some racing games, they are really good. Like they are in a point where stretching up to this big will look good. So you can actually utilize this as a game console, and it has a controller option built into it. Heck, you can pair any Bluetooth controller with this, plug it into mobile phone, and you have a console experience. And it would be really good nowadays because it has enough horsepower to run any game at maximum settings. And another aspect of the main supply chain is like Apple always have very good accessories. Now Android, because of the fragmentation, they do not have good accessories ecosystem. So Asus has done it on themselves. Consequence, accessories are expensive, but benefit, they will work without any issue. You do not have to think about it. For example, this cooling fan. Now, do you need this cooling fan to getting the max performance out of it? No. Do you need this cooling fan to make your experience more enjoyable? Yes. Why? It will cool your phone the moment it detects, because there are pogo pins that electrically connect. The moment this is detected in your phone will unlock the overclocking option. Basically, it's like go YOLO because it will not overheat. So that gives you a little bit more performance. And another aspect, because the cool air is blowing on the phone chassis will remain cool. So that will be easy to hold, and many people suggest that it also helps their fingers from not getting sweaty. So that's awesome. And it also has 2 physical buttons, so which you can map on extra activities in your games. So that's awesome. And because the Asus itself is building the hardware and the software that goes into this, it's a very seamless experience. And then you have Joy-Con like controllers which you can buy. Now again, I'm flat out aware of these things are very expensive, but that's the price you have to pay to have that Apple like it just works kind of scenario. So you can have really good gaming experience on this phone, which cannot be compared with anything other. Flat out, like, can you play games on highest setting on other things? Yes. Can you play dedicated game? Can you feel like you are playing a video game console? No, you will not get that on other systems. Heck, many people do play old retro games like NES games or SNES games. Those require dedicated controller. This has dedicated controller and has more than enough horsepower to run almost any emulation. So flat out, it's really good, and it does not have a notch or hole punch. I hate these things. I am like, just shut up and give me buzzers. I am happy with that. Heck, give me stereo speakers. That make me really happy. I am happy that Sony is doing that, and but their mobile division is no longer that profitable, so they are not even releasing phone in India anymore. So That's a really good system, that having to, because when I watch movie content, basically if I'm watching 16:9 video, I can zoom out and I do not see any basically whole bunch of cutouts. But the moment I see cinematic content, it stretches out the maximum limit, but there is a hole punch. I hate that. I hate that. Just I don't like that. So this is really good for them. And battery management wise, because this has such a huge battery, as in like 6,000 milliampere, and the fact that people will be pushing this puppy to maximum all the time, they have thought about a lot, and they had done some functions, provided some options that will make your battery last years. It won't be, because right now, if the primary reason why people are changing their smartphone on an average day-to-day life is simply because the battery is no longer lasting. We are at a point where phones can easily run for 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, but the cells do not last that long. So this puppy has some unique functions that will allow you to stretch that life much beyond the average expectancy, simply by toning it down. You can basically set your phone in such a way that do not charge it to 100%, which is really bad for lithium ion chemistry. Charge it to 80%. If you are like, dude, I'm always near a power bank or always near a charge system, and I know like my battery is like mostly not drained, keep it to only charge it up to 80. That will extend the life much longer. On top of that, when you are doing this gaming sort of session, you can set it in such a way that it will flat out bypass the battery. It will directly run on USB, and that makes sure the battery does not overheat and does not get swell. So all these little touches make sure that your phone can actually last long. So it has more than enough USB. Yes, it's an expensive puppy, but it has enough unique selling point where if you have this, you truly have something unique. Now, are there any consequence to this? Well, yes. First thing you have to understand, these things are flagship prices. Like Asus ROG Phone 5 Pro, this is second end variant, that is like 70,000 rupees. Then you go to ROG 5 Ultimate Edition, which is like 80,000 rupees. That's a lot of money. That's like laptop grade money we are talking about here. So these are high-end prices, but to buy these high-end phones and not expect a multi-year basically where it's like it's getting updates, that's unbearable now. Because even Samsung, when they make super cheap phone, even those phones are getting updates. I'm getting like I got already 2 system updates on my phone, and this is like Samsung M30 original one. So it's like very outdated, but Samsung is still doing that. And Samsung has made the commitment that all new phones will get up to 3 years of support. Apple is very well known for supporting up to 5 years. So Asus have to improve this puppy. And another aspect is the camera is not top of the end. Basically, if you compare this to similarly priced camera phones, which phones where they are specifically target on cameras, you will find it to be a bit lacking. Now be mindful, if you're coming from a 2-year-old phone to this, you'll be like, whoa, cameras are awesome. But if you are directly jumping or sidestepping from another phone, you will find the cameras to be lacking, specifically the fact that it does not have telephoto zoom in, which I would expect on the Ultimate Edition. I do not expect that on the base variant, but at least on Ultimate, I mean, that's the easiest way the companies differentiate their phones. It's like, hey, the low end one has like lower camera, high end one has the highest possible camera. This does not do that. So it's really difficult to justify the Ultimate Edition. Like flat out, it's unjustifiable. Like, why the heck you have Ultimate Edition? Only difference is like you're gonna get more RAM. So that's really not a wise decision to have 3 independent lineups of one model. So basically ROG Phone 5 has 3 models: basic one, pro one, and ultimate one. So it's really confusing, muddying the water kind of scenario. And although you do have the benefit that if you buy the ultimate or pro one, you will get the cooler inbuilt. So that's some way to remove the sting out of it, but that's really unfortunate, so to say. Now what we can expect in the future. Now this phone shows something very unique. It's like right tool for the right job is the most amazing way. If you watch any review of this phone, most of the reviews are like, it's truly mind-bogglingly awesome. The reason for that, even with a not so great camera, is because it's built to do one thing, and it does that amazingly well. Think of it this way, like what's the unique selling point of Samsung or OnePlus? They are just making good phones. And what's the difference between those good phones and iPhones? Not so much. But this puppy has that unique selling point. It's like, no, iPhone cannot game close to this. Flat out, it cannot come close to this. So there is some unique selling point, and that makes Android shine, because Android is a software package. Software package is only as good as the hardware that it runs on, and if both of them are synergized, you get amazing experience, which is why Apple is so successful. So flat out utilizing the uniqueness of Android to make something unique gives this phone a different kind of feel to it, where people are like, dude, this is a phone, this is a new phone. Every other phone right now just feels like, okay, this is just a black slab. So they are changing that system. You can buy Android phones that are folding, you can buy Android phone that has keyboards, you can find Android phone that looks like old flip phones. So these sort of thing makes Android look much better, where it's like, no, Android has something unique. So if you are a person who types a lot of email, like your life runs on emails, you will can buy the keyboard one. If you are in a position where it's like, dude, I deal with photographs and I would like a big screen as possible, get a folding phone. You're like, dude, I'm a gamer, like I need to go YOLO on my god mobile, get the gaming phone. I'm like, I want something that stands up, get a folding phone. So there is reasons to be excited about Android, and I'm really happy that Asus is taking this route rather than just like another phone. It does not feel like just another phone. It feels like, okay, we sat down to make a goddamn gaming phone, and this is the compromises that we made, and people are happy with it. Because again, practically speaking, unless you are suffering from the issue of where you are comparing everything to everything else, you will have this phone and you will enjoy it. So this was my presentation on ROG 5. Hopefully you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.